This episode of An Abundance of Naught is brought to you by Amazon.com. Amazon affiliated with us. We're very happy about it. Please go to anabundanceofnaught.com, click on the Amazon banner, and do all your shopping as normal. Bookmark for ease of use. We appreciate it.
And TLDRgamer.com. When you don't have a whole lot of time to read the gaming news and just want the brief excerpts, visit TLDRgamer.com for the core info. Thank you to them for the hosting and bandwidth for our podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome in. It's An Abundance of Naught. It is March 5th. That is a Wednesday. Garrett here, Brad and Wade.
Hello.
Usually is a Wednesday when we do this.
It usually is, but I felt the need to clarify on the rare occasions that it's not a Wednesday.
With the two?
Yeah, the two.
Alright.
Well, you know, it never hurts to be prepared. Always prepared.
Always preparedness. Many much more abundance of preparedness.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was a mouthful.
That was hard to say. How's it
Good.
going?
Fine.
I feel like I should be drinking more, but I'm not. I'm trying to be good. I've got
It
tequila
sounds
here.
like you already have been.
Well, I had a beer, but that was with dinner, and that shouldn't count. Although, I had my fair share Monday night when I got clobbered at pool. Some of the people may have seen that on our Facebook wall. Yeah, that sucked. But they had tequila, so I was fine.
Yeah, tequila makes the pain go away.
Although, it provoked a lot of pain later because one of the girls on the team, it's her birthday this week, so she bought me a beer when she walked in. She hasn't been drinking for 2 months. And so she was ordering some drink, and I was like, you know what, I should reciprocate, so I said I'd buy her drink. Well, it turned out this one drink was $15. I was like, what? So I was buying a beer for me, a beer for another person, and then I was covering this drink. And the bartender goes, that's $25. What? Turns out they're charged $7.50 for a shot of Patron, and that had at least 2 shots worth in it. And I was, yeah.
Ting!
So I paid it because I said I would, but I definitely...
That was the last time you did that.
Well, I'm going to be a little more selective on the drinks that I buy, namely ones that I know how much they cost.
Did she choose the drink?
Yeah, she's already ordering it when I went up to get my beers. And I felt that, you know what, she bought me a beer, I should buy her drink for her birthday or whatever.
Hold on. Ting, ting, ting. That's the sound of a gold digger.
No, she bought it and was going to put it on her tab.
She was going, I'm going to order this drink. Someone's going to come in and be like, I'll pay for that for your birthday. She knew it was going to happen.
No, she didn't. But you can be vindictive and cynical and negative like that. That's fine.
Oh, you knew she was thinking that.
All right. I knew you're an idiot. Shut up. Not even ask how you're doing. I don't even care anymore. Brad, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Any personal injuries you want to share in the form of embarrassing actions or any other? How do you do?
No, you know, I'd hate to take away from your limelight here.
Well, I'll bask in it then. I'm gonna my head
Yep.
back, my arms out, basking
That's
in the
right.
limelight
Yep.
of embarrassment.
Yep. Stupidity award.
That's right. Shut up.
Darwin.
I have one of those.
Darwin Award?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
For those
Now
who don't
we
know
the rest of the story.
For those who don't know, Darwin Awards are comical awards given to people of extreme stupidity. Hence, those who have not evolved, therefore, are deserving of the Darwin Award.
Yes, but I believe they can only be awarded posthumously. I think you
think
have to
that's
have been
true.
so stupid you took yourself out of the gene pool.
Like drowning in 6 inches of water or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have anything much else to share. I mean, it rained all the weekend here, so nothing really fun and exciting occurred. So,
No, but that's awesome for you guys.
yeah, we haven't had rain in a while. It was definitely well needed, but I trust myself driving in the rain. It's everyone else that scares me. So I stayed home as much as possible. Although
You're just not used to it.
They are not, yeah, true. I have 4-wheel drive vehicles, so I just click it into 4-wheel drive high, and then it's like it's not raining at all. which is fine. I did find myself, however, sitting in a church for about an hour on Saturday, and I'm glad to say that I'm still here.
That's an unusual place for you.
Yeah, well, it started to get a little warm. My skin started to itch a little bit. It was definitely time for me to leave by the time I ended up leaving. So my daughter's mom
is your complexion slightly darker?
It's a little pink right now. Yeah.
Yep.
So my daughter's mom is raising her, I suppose, Catholic. I don't really keep track of the different branches that all revolve around Christianity.
The different brands.
Sects. That's S-E-C-T, not S-E-X. Just clarifying.
See, and I was about to hit the explicit button. Thank you for clearing that up.
You were. It was a legitimate term in reference to religious branches. But,
yes, it was.
So it was her first reconciliation / confession that kicks them into the downward spiral that is organized religion. So
downward spiral.
Yes, downward spiral.
So it's kind of like a coming of age type of deal.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I guess, is the standard lineage after or linear path after baptism, and she does the CCD thing, which I guess is like a Bible study type church group thing on Tuesdays. Okay. I don't really know what they do. It doesn't sound like it's a lot of religious factors involved. It's just people getting together.
Sure.
But, this happened. It was this big organized thing. There was probably 50 or so kids there, ranging in, I would say probably 7 to, I think it may have been a 10 or a 12-year-old girl there, and that was probably the oldest I saw.
Okay.
I do have to say, though, they started off with a little song that they did with the kids, and the girl who was kind of hosting and singing or leading in song had a really, really nice voice. I mean, I really could see her doing something professionally. She was just that good.
That's awesome.
So, good for her. That's my story.
And we're stuck with it.
That's right.
Yep.
Burning in your ears. For eternity. You're welcome.
All right.
And crickets chirp.
Yeah.
Anyone want to share anything? Wade, you can share now.
Sure, what? I mean, it was raining for me, too. So it was.
You had your weekend? Did it rain on your weekend?
It was wet. Yes.
Ooh, it was wet. Sorry.
Not that one.
Sorry.
Unfortunately.
PG.
It rained on your weekend as well?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Well, actually, we have split weekends, so...
Yeah, keep in mind, Wade's weekend is Thursday, Friday, not Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So let's just consider this for a second. It rained for pretty much 4 days straight in Southern California, which
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, usually when it does decide to rain, it rains heavy and hard for a day, and then it's clear blue skies the next day. It's like it never happened. So 4 days of persistent rainfall felt like we were in Seattle.
This was just God going, you know what? Screw this place for a while.
Screw this place in particular.
I've had enough of you and your smug, always sunny attitudes.
You're taking
We're going to
advantage
take
of your
care of
gift.
So it was just
That's
a very
right.
domestic weekend. Pretty much staying inside, only going out when I really needed to, like picking up the niece.
Let's be fair. You pretty much do that on all your weekends, is stay inside and only go somewhere if you absolutely have to.
No, not this weekend.
With the exceptions of going shooting and stuff like that, which was cool. So,
Yep.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got nothing for us then? Is that what I'm guessing?
Is the pool still level? Oh, this is going way back, by the way.
The pool is a block of ice.
I was going to say, yeah.
Martinis.
Yeah, the pool is a 15-foot diameter, probably 3-foot thick sheet of or block of ice.
I'm not sure where you got martinis from. You don't usually put martinis in or ice in martinis. You use it to shake with, but you don't put it in the martini.
Exactly. Or he's got a skating ring now.
He's got a nice skating ring. There you go.
Yeah. We'll play ice hockey.
Nice.
There you go.
Very good. Well,
because I live in the north, and that's a real sport.
That's a real sport.
Watch out for White Walkers.
Yeah.
Yes.
That north.
Fortunately for us, winter is leaving.
Winter never came for us.
Yeah.
No, it definitely came for us hard and heavy. We're I don't mind snow. I really, really like snow, but it's the bitter cold. We're ready for summer to come.
Yeah, that doesn't matter what you wear, but you're always freezing.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
5 layers and you're still cold.
Right.
Well, considering the height of it, a couple storms ago, our actual air temperature was, I think, about 15 below. And with the wind chill, because we had a really strong wind blowing from the north, and it was a 40 below wind chill. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, no.
And here we are complaining about the rain.
Yeah, we have water. We have water falling from the sky, and we thought we were going to die.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't want to go driving. He's like, it's 15 below.
Yeah, it is, yeah, I'm not built for the cold.
Yeah.
But, let's jump into some movies, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it!
It's
All right.
movie time.
Da, 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 da. All right, so opening this week, we have 300 sequel, Rise of an Empire, with our favorite queen we love to hate. That would be Lena Headey, also known as Cersei Lannister. This movie's got a 64% critic rating. Honestly, I don't see myself seeing this.
Yeah.
I don't. The first one
That's
the first one was interesting. It was entertaining, but I'm not sure if I could. It seems like it's the same movie to me, just different people in it.
The first one was still mildly historically accurate,
This is true. It had.
but this one's just like, and we're gonna milk it.
Yeah, that is also very true. Also coming out, this is a tugging at the heartstrings of childhood for some. Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Yay!
I have to backtrack though. 300 Rise of an Empire is a, if I didn't say 64% critic rating.
You did say.
Did I say? Okay.
You did say.
I said it twice.
Just so you weren't
Said
listening.
what twice?
Huh?
What?
So Mr. Peabody
Oh,
and
God.
Sherman is rated 83%, and that will be out this weekend as well. I'm sure it's probably very good. I think I'd rather wait till it's on a less expensive means of entertainment. In the box office, we don't see this very often, but our last two movies that released, which would be Nonstop with Liam Neeson and the Son of God movie that came out, are in the top two box office slots respectively, pulling in $28.9 million for Nonstop and $25.6 million for Son of God. And the Lego movie pulling in at third at 20.8, followed by 3 Days to Kill at $5 million.
That's pretty awesome that here we are, 6 weeks later, and Lego Movie is still in the top 3.
Yeah, and I think that's pulled in something like $200 million by now. Something crazy.
Fact checkers.
That's about that. I think the first weekend was like 69. Second week was 40-something, followed by at least this 20, and then I think there was another one in there too. So
Then you add the sales of the new Lego toys that are coming out that are branded with...
which my daughter she's bought one. Yeah, you've got all of those that are out, and you're going to have, all that stuff. And then when the movie hits it as well, that's where a lot of the big money comes too. So, but it's like we talked about, the family movies always are going to pull in more because one car load of people is bringing in almost twice the head count.
3 to 4, then
Sure.
1 to 2.
So as of the 3rd of March, this from our wonderful interns, the grossing on the movie is $210,406,935.
Nice.
Over a budget of $60 million.
So they budgeted
So they-
$60 million and they pocketed $140 over and above.
Yes.
Wow.
150. Yep.
That's awesome.
And in fact, their budget was estimated at $60 million. Their opening weekend was $69 million.
Yeah.
They paid for the movie in the first weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And that's actually sounds like a pretty low budget considering the names of voiceover actors were in the movie. You had Morgan Freeman, you had
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell was actually an appearance, so he may have. I don't know if he would have pulled in more than someone like Morgan Freeman because he was a
actually
physical face
made
in the movie.
appearance.
But
Yeah.
still, there were some big movies in that. So
There were some big movies in that?
yeah,
There were some big movies in that movie.
There were some big movies in that movie. Shut up.
There
Yeah.
were some big movies in that name.
Yeah, so you had Will Arnett, who played Batman. You may not recognize the name, but you would definitely recognize the face. You had Alison Brie, Elizabeth Banks, David Burrows. Yeah, a whole bunch of people, obviously. But obviously. So, I mean, even Jonah Hill was in it. So, I mean, you know, voiceover actors still make good money. What?
Just the way you said that was like, that was, you know...
Substantial?
Well, no, we're
meaningful
we're
information?
We're so far down that even Jonah Hill was in it.
That's right. He's done quite a few voiceover stuff. I mean, he did voiceover in How to Train Your Dragon, which now number 2 will be coming out shortly, which I'm super excited for. I hope it doesn't
that was
suck.
awesome.
If it sucks, I'm going to be so bummed.
We will always have number 1.
This is true. But,
number 2 is that stepchild we don't talk about.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. Well, let's jump into some news.
Absolutely.
Yay.
So let me lead off here. We're going to lead with Apple, always up to something new. Do you guys remember when phones used to be tied to the wall? You know, they had that wire thing that you couldn't move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're going back a little ways here.
Is that when they had the rotary dial? Is that
close?
Not quite that far back. Did you guys ever have an answering machine?
Little tape that you'd hit the button?
Yeah, the little tape thing, and it would record. Yep.
Yeah.
So one of the features, I use the term loosely, that you had with a physical phone and answering machine was this thing called call screening, where you would pretend to not be home and let the call roll to the voicemail and then listen to who it was.
Yes.
As they were leaving you, yes. And then you'd find out it actually was important. You'd pick up the call and go, tricked you.
I was in the shower, hold
Yeah. So Apple just received a patent on the electronic version of that. That is that you will be able to listen in on your visual voicemail as your caller is leaving it and have the option to pick up the call after you've already rejected the call.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of a interesting throwback. Obviously, not all patents that are awarded ever get created, but it would be an interesting one, I think.
So they've put in for the patent, and it got approved, but they don't necessarily have it. Clearly, it's not released to the public yet, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's like a preemptive thing?
But, yeah.
So we have a patent on it. You want to use our technology, pay us.
That, or it prevents someone else from using it without paying them.
That's what I'm saying.
Doesn't have to be necessarily their technology, but...
Well, we have a patent on it. You want to use it, pay us. That's us.
Yep.
Exactly.
So.
That's interesting.
Kind of cool.
I question if it'll ever really get used. I mean, if it's important, people leave a voicemail and you'll know to call them back. If it's not, then you won't. And I don't know. We'll see.
I agree. Its use case is kind of fuzzy, but from a tech standpoint, it's kind of interesting.
Sure.
Moving on.
Well,
What you got, Wade?
I'm talking about steam. I think we all know what that is. We've talked about it several times.
Water boils and creates a vapor.
Yep. Okay, sorry.
when Garrett gets annoyed, it comes out of his ears.
It usually happens when I think too hard.
I usually have to get some ice
daily.
Yeah.
Daily. You have to top up your water supply.
Uh-huh. My thermostat's not functioning.
Yep.
Anyway.
Okay, the digital game distribution.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that Steam. Announced, went into the practice of having game developers and publishers choice to when their games go on sale, and Steam not having really any part of it other than adjusting their price to sell the game. It's you choose, the developer and publisher chooses when their game goes on sale and when it goes off sale. And maybe not at what price, because Steam does have some really great deals from time to time. Speaking of the holiday sale and summer sale.
Well, that was going to be my question. Does that mean the end of the awesome Steam sales?
Because it won't be an organized Steam thing. It'll be a by developer.
Right.
I doubt it. I think there'd still be times where there's a massive deal going on. I think it's just at any particular point, a game that you may be interested could be on sale. Which, may actually increase the sales on Steam year round.
Well, it goes back to begging the question, is it worth making $40 on a single transaction and only making one a month, or making $25 on a transaction but doing 3 a month?
Yeah, but I don't see how that's affected by the developers having control of the sales versus Steam having it. I mean, one of the big draws for Steam are their awesome packages and sales,
Yep.
I think it's still the ones where they can go to the sales. I'm talking about the ones where they actually, like, during the holiday and summer and whatnot, where they can still go and ask and go, okay, do you have a bunch of them on sale? And then year round you have 1 or 2 a day.
Some random ones.
Yeah.
I'm curious how this affects their business model, because if it's the developer saying, okay, we want to go on sale July from $35 down to $20, obviously that lowers Steam's price cost down so that they can still make some money on it. Versus when Steam does a sale, the organized sales, I wonder how that works, and if Steam is going to be making more money on this new model or less money. It's obviously, without knowing the more details, it's impossible to determine, but
it is possible that Steam is actually having set up a kind of like a subscription model. You're paying to have your game on the program. So
like a subscription with the developers?
Yeah, exactly. They could be doing that. We don't know, but that would probably the most likely subject is that, dude, if you're not on Steam, your game isn't really being sold. And of course, there are some stipulations, such as Minecraft, that blew up without being on Steam.
Well, yeah, but actually, I have my Minecraft in my Steam library. I don't remember how I did it, but it's linked in there one way or another. It's possible.
You can add external games to your library, but that doesn't put them on Steam.
Gotcha.
It just uses the Steam client as like a game launcher.
A launcher, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be probably the way they're going with it, is that they're being paid for having the games hosted, not on the cut of the sale of the game.
I can't imagine that they're doing this if they're going to make less money.
I would agree.
They're a business. They're in this to make money. I can't imagine that they're missing out here.
Sure. Fair deal.
Just my thought.
Glad to see how it goes. It's kind of nice to come home and wonder if there's a present waiting for you in the form of a $5 game, which I've already taken in part of. I found a game that I kind of wanted to play at the time it came out, wasn't able to afford it due to financial constraints, and now it's like, well, I have this, and it was $5. If it sucked, I paid $5. Oh no.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about these deals, is that you can take a gamble on a game, and if you really don't like it, you're like, okay, well, I only spent $5 or $10 on this as opposed to the $30, $40, $50 it may have cost at retail point.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to justify opening the wallet for that.
Continuing on, it's this game was out several years, and it's easy to look up, was this good, was this bad? But at $5. Can you really argue that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, very good. Moving on?
Yep.
Fantastic. We all know, and some of us don't really love Radio Shack, Brad. But Radio Shack...
We'll get into that.
Radio Shack is sad to announce for themselves they will be closing up to 1,100 stores due to primarily the drop in sales over holiday season. Stocks have plummeted 15% as a result of, but on a side note, their stock was at a high point in 1999 at about $76 a share. It's now down to $2.25. So, granted, the overall economy from the late 90s had a spike and a dump, but that's a pretty substantial fall for a
how the mighty have fallen.
So what's that?
I said, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
It's true. And I mean, they were a well-known and fairly well-respected retailer. And, according to this article, which was from Huffington Post, and obviously links are on the show notes, but they just haven't kept up with the times and the culture. They haven't made themselves an electronics destination, and they haven't stayed up with the newer trends to keep the foot traffic to cater to the younger generations that are looking for the shock factor. And as a result, they've turned into kind of just a nuts and bolts type electronics store. I mean, I've gone in there to buy a switch here or just a little, connector type. But that's pretty much it. I don't know if I've ever really bought anything substantial from a Radio Shack.
So if I can throw this out there.
No, you can't.
Okay. Moving on.
Well, well, I can definitely see it, how they're dropping. I mean, if you take in the rise of Amazon, I mean, you can get darn near anything, especially during holiday times where, hell, Amazon ships your stuff in a box. Wrap it, put it on the tree, done.
You can pay Amazon another $3 and they'll wrap it for you.
They'll wrap it for you.
Yeah. What you're going to do with Radio Shack, you're going to buy it, have to find a box, and then wrap it. Amazon. Done.
Well, and it's that. It's you can find more stuff easier. Yeah, with the .com e-retailer explosion, it makes it hard for physical retailers to keep up with the added overhead of stores and employees, etc.
Okay, but you know what? Radio Shack has gotten away from what made them awesome. Back in the day, Radio Shack was the go-to destination for anything for your electronics project. You mentioned that you've been there to buy a Switch and that they don't have much. Well, that used to be what they did, was electronics components,
Yeah. I mean, they're getting into the cell phone industry, but they're really just trying to do that just to try to stay competitive.
They had remote
that's
control
the
cars,
thing.
Like that.
They used to have components like crazy. If you were doing an electronics project, Radio Shack was where you went to get everything. I went in there a couple weeks ago to try and get a adapter for something. I can't remember what I was trying to do. It was something for work. And seriously, Radio Shack is nothing but a glorified cell phone store now.
Yeah.
And I don't go to stores to buy my cell phone. I think they've marketed themselves out of the market. What exactly do you go to Radio Shack for? I can't think of anything I need to anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone into them for maybe a small cable or something like that, just because it was nearby.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because I knew it was the best place to go.
Yeah,
there's nothing that makes you go, hey, let's go to Radio Shack.
Yeah,
if you think of...
Not recently, for sure.
You think about it, you go, I need a Switch. What is the first couple stores you think of? Best Buy. And...
Well, not even, because Best Buy doesn't do a lot of component type stuff. But honestly, a lot of stuff you can find at auto parts stores now. People doing, electronics work in their cars at auto parts stores like Kragen and AutoZone, that kind of stuff will have a lot more of your electronics pieces for that too. So, yeah, I mean, they've gone away from what they were, and it's definitely suffered as a result. So, it's not necessarily the end of Radio Shack, but you kind of see it from there.
Yeah, they could turn around, but they'd have to in a significant way.
I feel sorry for the employees, obviously. I mean, 1,100 stores closing, that's going to be a significant downsize. But as far as from the company aspect goes, I can't say that I'm shedding much of a tear. They're not anything, gone of the days when they're the go-to place. They're not much of anything anymore.
Agreed. And
Moving on. So we've touched base before on this legal battle going on between the cable industry or the broadcasters and a little internet startup by the name of Aereo.
Yes, recall this.
So, to recap for those that are just joining us,
Or need a refresher.
Aereo is a internet company that allows you to view TV stations through your computer. Now, the way that they have dealt with the legal ramifications for this is they build a data center, for lack of a better term, a huge, location in a market where they can receive signal. New York City, Boston, and one city in Utah, I believe, are currently their markets. And when you subscribe, you actually rent an antenna. It is a 1-to-1 ratio. You, the subscriber, rent an antenna. Now, the broadcast industry has gone after them for copyright violations, saying that this is wrong. They have won most of them. Aereo has won most of the legal challenges, but now it has gone all the way to the Supreme Court. The hearing is set for April 22.
I just want to clarify something here real quick, too, in that Aero is not distributing content. They are allowing you to just purely stream it, but it's not I want to stream the TV show Arrow, for example, on Friday. I think it's still paired with when the broadcast companies are broadcasting it, correct?
It is, well, yes and no.
Okay.
It is live TV, but as part of your subscription, you also have access to a DVR.
Okay.
But they are not caching anything. If you want to watch Arrow at a time other than when it is broadcast, then you have to log in and set your DVR to record it.
Yeah, so it's the same as watching something on your cable box. You're just doing it on your computer.
Not your cable box. It's the same as having an antenna at your house.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the experience to the viewer, not so much the system it works.
Yes. So, and the other limitation to it is you have to live in the market that you're renting from. For example, a New York City resident could not rent an antenna in Boston.
Sure.
Because in the real world, somebody in New York City couldn't legitimately set up an antenna and receive the Boston signals. They're trying to keep it as close to real life as possible.
They're just trying to give an alternate version than the rest of the big companies doing it.
So the Department of Justice has weighed in, and they have weighed in actually against Aereo and on the side of the broadcasters, saying that Aereo poses a threat to the law and that the users can gain access to copyrighted content, and that it was unfairly competing with the cable companies. The cable companies have to pay to pay to carry the local stations, and Aereo is not, because they're not carrying anything. You're renting an antenna. But the Department of Justice feels that this is not fair.
Where is the broadcast coming from? They're not broadcasting themselves, correct? It's still coming from the local broadcast network?
Correct.
Yeah, so they're not... They're just providing... They're an ISP for television content.
More or less, yes.
As opposed to... I don't even know. A streamable service like Netflix or something where they own the content that they're streaming.
Correct. They have no control over the content at all. You know, it is no different technologically than you getting, a pair of rabbit ear antennas and plugging them in your back of your TV.
Are they still broadcasting that analog signal, though? Or I thought they went all digital.
I was using that as a colloquial term of reference. No, they're not broadcasting analog anymore. But you can still get antennas to plug into your TV to receive just over the airwaves.
Okay.
Digital antennas to receive the digital signals. You can get free-to-air TV. Each market generally has 5 to 10 channels
Yeah.
that you can just receive free over the air. And that's what they're doing. They have an antenna set up that's receiving the signals that are just being broadcast by the TV stations over the air anyway. The only difference is instead of the antenna being hooked to your TV, the antenna is hooked to their server that connects to your computer. But you're still renting an antenna.
Sure. Now, is the concern that people like me, you, the YouTube industry that does a lot of gaming where they're doing screen captures, is the concern that now we have that much more access to being able to gain possession of content that would otherwise be a purchasable content, I guess, for lack of a better word?
No, it's purely a business peeing match.
Okay.
Because you don't have access to any more content by subscribing to Aereo than you would by sticking up an antenna and plugging it into your TV. It's exactly the same. So you could do screen captures over that, and they have no control over that.
Sure.
The argument is that your cable provider, Comcast, Verizon, Cox, has to pay the local TV station. So, for example, you have Charter Cable, and in your area there is a local NBC station and a local Fox station. The NBC and the Fox station are broadcasting over the air that you can pick up with your antenna for free. However, you can also pick it up on your cable box. Now, when Charter rebroadcasts over the cable, they have to pay NBC and Fox to rebroadcast their signal. Now you're getting it over the cable instead of over the air. So the argument is Aereo is no different. They should be paying to rebroadcast, except they're not rebroadcasting. You're renting space for an antenna.
Got it. Well, we'll see what happens with the Supreme Court deal. I mean, hopefully, I'm on the side of Aereo or whatever it is, because healthy competition is good for the market. It's basic economics.
I agree.
You start letting these big companies dictate what can and can't be done, you start running into the risk of only having them to, as options and them raking you over the coals with whatever they want.
Well, and as we touched on a little bit last week, we already have major monopolies. You don't have a choice of what cable provider you want.
Correct.
Yeah.
You either have cable or you don't.
Yeah.
So I think anything that can be done to introduce competition into the market is a good thing.
No arguments there.
Moving on.
Yeah. Wait, did you have...
A little bit of a discussionary piece, but I don't think it's too much of a topical. If we really do want to get into it,
let's go through some of the other stuff we have and see what we have time for. Fine for you, Brett?
That's fine.
All right. So I don't know if you've seen this in the news or not. We've been talking a fair amount about drones in the past, whether it was NSA drones or Amazon drones or military drones or whatever. But what about Facebook drones? So Facebook, everyone's favorite and or worst social media contribution to the social experience known to man, has been rumored to be in discussions with Titan Aerospace and looking to spend at roughly $60 million to acquire this company. And Titan is mainly manufactures, quote, huge unmanned aerial vehicles, also known as UAVs. The UAV that they're looking at is called the Solera 60, which can stay in flight for around 5 years.
Wow.
And Facebook would be looking to build 11,000 of these units with one purpose, really. And that is their goal is to bring the internet to as much of the world as possible that currently is not connected. So Facebook is a founding member of the group internet.org, which appears to be a group of companies who feels it's a human right or a social right to have access to the internet, regardless of where you live. And Facebook is looking to use some of their vast wealth in purchasing UAV drones that can stay in the air for 5 years to broadcast internet for connectivity's sake.
So in layman's terms, they're attaching a internet antenna to a drone and sending it out.
More or less. And they want to send 11,000 of them throughout the globe to bring the internet to the remaining roughly 2/3 of the globe that doesn't have it now. There's some criticism in that, is this a righteous move for the sake of humanity, or is this just a move to expand the potential customer base for Facebook?
Well, this is Facebook. I don't accept anything that they do as benevolent. They have never shown that I recall anything that they do to be purely for the good of their users. So if they're doing this, there's something in it for them.
Sure.
In fact, I would say that it's mostly for them. This is not a brand new concept, though. I guess from the drone aspect, it's new. But Google has already launched a trial airborne internet connection in New Zealand using large weather balloons.
Okay.
And this is going back, I want to say 6 months, 7 months.
I do recall seeing something. There was a magazine I came across. It's probably in the dentist office, but it was like all the different affiliated companies that Google has their hand in, and one of which was some type of a weather balloon, or some type of company that correlated to that. But I didn't hear that they were experimenting with this.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Okay, it's called Project Loon, Loon. It was a pilot test launch was launched in New Zealand with 30 balloons and 50 testers. It's not extremely fast. It gives you about 3G cell phone speed.
Okay.
So not,
Yeah, and this article for the Facebook,
but better than no connection at all.
Yeah, I mean the article here doesn't talk about the technicalities of it. It just talks about the rumored talks or the reported talks that have been occurring between Facebook and Titan Aerospace, and what the kind of general plan would be should things go through. Facebook and Titan didn't respond to any requests from Huffington Post. But we're looking to see what happens. Now, what I found most interesting about this was we talked last week or a week before about Facebook using stocks and cash in the combined total of roughly $18 billion to purchase a messaging app.
Yep.
Piece of software, and maybe the company that creates it for the people and what they can create in the future.
Sure.
Now they want to buy unmanned aerial vehicles, but they only want to spend $60 million. I see something wrong with that picture.
Seems like somebody has undervalued themselves.
Right? Titan.
Or somebody overvalued themselves.
Way to go.
So I think someone may have overspent, guys, we need to get a deal on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't have any money left.
This WhatsApp thing, it didn't quite work out. We need to
Yeah. We need to do something else. What do we have left? 60
Where
million.
can we
Perfect.
save some money here?
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. Does it go through? Do they try to implement something?
I guess comparing the two, though, considering these are supposed to stay aloft I mean, what would you prefer when it fails? Because it's a machine, it's going to fail.
Of course.
So, do you want the balloon to slowly lose air and drift back to Earth, or do you want the rotor blades of the droid of the drone to stop spinning and this, couple 100-pound device come plummeting back to Earth?
Hitting your dog.
That's true. And I mean, I would imagine, I don't know how Google did it, but I don't know how weather balloons really work, but I would imagine if you were doing a network of weather balloons, there would be some type of a tether. I don't know. Maybe that's far-fetched. Maybe that's naive, but...
It'd be really weird for planes.
Well, but how high
Dodge
would these...
the minefield.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But I mean, how high would these things have to be or low in order to broadcast the signal for connectivity? I mean, I don't see these things. I think if they'd be too high, you lose the range. Just like a standard Wi-Fi. You go beyond the limitations of your wireless, Wi-Fi emitter, and you lose connectivity. So if this thing's 15 miles up in the air, then yeah, you're not going to have range, in my opinion. But I mean, I don't know what the technology is.
So details will be on the show notes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
They have a whole webpage about it. The balloons are not tethered,
Okay.
and they sit around the 20-kilometer mark above Earth. And apparently at that altitude, the wind directions are layered. So varying the height of the balloons, which it doesn't go into how they can do that, but using software algorithms, they can essentially move it up and down between different wind current layers.
Okay.
To get them in different positions.
Interesting.
Yeah. Kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it is.
Not to steal your thunder, but my balloons are way cooler than your drones.
Thunder thief. Fair deal. Well, that's all I had on that. I mean, I thought it was an interesting topic, and they call out to Amazon in their 60 Minutes statement about using drones to deliver packages, and how that was nothing much more than a really long Amazon commercial. But we'll see what happens with that too.
Should be interesting. When you first pitched the idea, I wasn't sure where it was going. The idea of Facebook owning drones is not exactly a comforting one.
Right? It starts following you when you check into places, and...
That's right.
What are you doing, Mr.
That
Anderson?
guy didn't pay for his boost in Farm Bill. Triangulating position. Found him.
Update your status for you automatically. So-and-so checked into here. So-and-so didn't wash his hands after the bathroom. What? Wait a minute.
Because that's something we all need. Checked in at McDonald's. Checked in at the bathroom at McDonald's. And washed hands.
Wait, ordered a double Big Mac. Whoa. Hungry today?
Uh-huh.
With fries and
A Diet Coke. Oh, man.
New ad. Are you feeling self-conscious about your weight?
Well,
That is pretty funny.
tie that into Google Glass. Now we're start having Minority Report effect, where ads start popping up in front of your face.
New gym membership.
That's right.
Welcome to McDonald's. Would you like to join the gym?
That's right.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
You right over there?
I'm sleeping.
So,
I'm taking a nap. I'm out of here.
is that why the quality of our podcast just went up?
Yeah, right?
Have you guys heard of Meetup?
No.
I have. I did subscribe to a group, but it's like I never go because they're set on time where it's like, well, I'm not going to make that one.
Okay. Well, supposedly it's this website where you can look up various groups to meet.
Based on activities, not so much the
based
people?
on activities, yeah. No, it's not a dating service. It's not a, it's, what are you interested in? And do you want to sew? Do you want to play paintball? Do you want to, cooking? I don't know, various things. Program. So they were brought down a little while ago with a denial of service attack. Now, this is something that we have not covered before, but anybody that has been, in tune with the internets, the interwebs, have probably heard the term before. A denial of service attack is where the attacker throws so much traffic at a target, a server, that the server doesn't crash. It's just so busy that it can't respond to legitimate traffic.
It pretty much just times out.
It's of like thousands of people are accessing the site at the same time.
Yep, exactly. So there are actually legitimate ways for websites to have denial of service attacks. If you get mentioned on the nightly news and, 300,000 people in your community all of a sudden go, that would be interesting, and all hit your web server at the same time, chances are you're going to have a denial of service attack, but not an intentional one, right?
Like Blizzard's release of Diablo 3?
Yes, exactly.
I've seen that occur of a podcast that they do a live stream as well, and it's like, and we've just crashed the site.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, a significantly popular podcast could mention a site during their stream, and all of a sudden that site crashes because everybody watching the stream just went there.
Yeah.
So that's non-malicious. That's accidental. However, there are people that do this deliberately. They want to bring down websites. And there have been various ways of doing it. But a new way has been discovered, and this is what was sent to Meetup to bring them down. And it uses a quirk in the network time protocol service. So in most modern OSs, when you go into the time option, there's an option there that says automatically set the time.
Yep.
And you don't ever have to worry about it again. Well, what it's doing is there are lots of servers around the internet that maintain a very accurate time, and they offer this as a service where your computer can request from them, hey, what's the time? And they will respond with what the current time is.
Yes.
Well, there is also a command in the network time protocol service, which I don't understand why it was ever in there, but you can request the server to send you the addresses of the last 600 computers to connect to it.
Okay, that sounds scary, but okay.
Okay, so what this new denial of service attack does is the attacker will send one of these time servers a request for the last 600 computers that have connected to it. But they deliberately, it's called spoofing, they deliberately alter their request to make it look like it came from the server that they want to attack.
So it's trying to ping itself. In theory,
it's using the time server to attack the target server. So you're a bad guy, you want to bring Meetup down. You send a request to one of the time servers. The Navy runs several of them. So you send a request to the time server, and you lie to the time server, and you tell it you're actually from Meetup. Send me the replies at my Meetup address. So now the server sends back 600 addresses to a computer that never asked for it in the first place. There's a diagram, I think it will be in the show notes, that describes how one attacker with a single megabit connection, okay, so think about your cable connection. You probably have 10 megabits.
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take 10, 15. So one attacker with 1 megabit connection can, by using this, the way that this ramps up, amplify it to, where is it? 400 times the size. Essentially, you end up with 1 megabit. crap, I thought they had it here. You can end up with several gigabits per second.
You're clogging the pipe.
You're clogging the pipe, yes. Okay, here it is. An attacker with one connection can generate over 200 gigabits of traffic.
Yeah, that's substantial.
That is outrageously substantial. So that's what happened to Meetup. It's a new kind of attack. There is an easy way to fix it. For the servers, you disable this command. Nobody legitimately needs to know who asked you for the time. So, but yeah, that's what happened to Meetup. It's correct. Yeah. So
interesting.
It's a carryover. One of those things of when the internet was first designed. It was it started off a military project and then became a academic one. And a lot of these features, I use the term loosely, are remnants of this time when the internet was a good place, a happy place. This is where students and researchers and everybody came together to do wonderful things. And, everybody played nicely. There was no security because there didn't need to be any.
Yeah, it was Canada.
It was Canada. And now more and more, all these remnants of stuff that, nobody remembers why this command was in there, but obviously it was needed at some point because somebody programmed it. And now it's being turned for malicious use. There's some really nasty people out there.
Yeah, and what's interesting about something like this is that it doesn't benefit the attacker. It's not like he's hacking a bank account or something like that. He or she or they get nothing out of this than the gratification of knowing the site is now down for however long it took it to get back up.
All I got out of this was that I screwed you over.
Yeah. Neener.
Yeah, it's a higher form of internet trolls. It's just they're doing it just the satisfaction of knowing that they can.
It's internet bullying. It's the schoolyard bully grown up.
Yep.
That's
kind of want to go check out Meetup though. For amateur podcasters.
There you go.
It'd actually be a really funny twist of fate is that it's kind of now it's kind of more like advertising.
Yeah, can they get you the DDS on DDSA? What is it?
DOS.
DDoS.
DDoS on us so we can post it to some web deal so we can get some traffic.
Report it on CNN.
That's right. Get us some publicity.
But you see what
An abundance of Naught was brought down.
Yeah, an abundance of who? Who are these guys?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
These guys are
Let me
amazing.
check that out.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, you see what I mean? It's like, we were brought down, now we're back up, and we're getting a ton of free press for this.
Yeah.
From the web administrator's side of it, I'm certain that, none of this was pleasant, but marketing is happy.
Yeah. So true.
Surprising, marketing guy did this firsthand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marketing guy's a hacker.
Somewhere, guy in Google's like, why didn't we think of that? Facebook is like, what's going on?
I think those guys have ever had a problem. Well, very interesting. Well, we're right at that hour mark. Do we have anything else we want to throw in there at the last little bit?
I think
I'm done.
I think I'm good.
Regarding YouTube, we mentioned last week I went on a whale watching trip. That video is up and live. Couple of rest videos coming. I might be doing a car thing on Friday, so there may be another onboard car video coming this weekend. We'll see how that goes. Not really sure what else is coming up. I'm still toying with a few ideas, so we'll see what happens.
As for me, I do know there was a lull in content. I now have, 2 games I haven't even started. So I'm now in full swing of getting things done and getting content out there. So
Yay!
expect a lot of stuff coming through now.
Fantastic. I think I'm done.
Awesome.
So am I.
Sounds like a good place to end it then.
All right. Everyone, take it easy.
Keep on gaming.
That's a wrap.
We here at Abundance of Naught do appreciate you listening in and would also appreciate you sharing us with your friends via the Stitcher Radio app and also iTunes. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and join us at Facebook. Thank you.